So I went exploring the other day with my friend in Dover, and we found our way into some of the caves that you can explore there. There's lots of caves all around Dover. So we found our way into this cave, and all the chalk has been dug out, and the part of the chalk that's been dug out has been used to brick up the entrances to these caves. And while we were exploring, we noticed that running through the layers of the chalk are straight lines of flint. Now if you pay attention, all around this cave there's lines of flint running in straight seams through the rock at about just over half-meter distances, vertical distances between them. And we also noticed that the roof, where it had been cut exactly along one of these layers, exposing basically a line of flint all across the ceiling. And we started thinking how strange that was, that if these were kind of natural, then how did the flint get in there in such regular lines? And yeah, so I wanted to make a video just exploring the idea that perhaps the cliffs of Dover are man-made. Excuse the cocks and balls and the swear words graffitied all around the cave. Nothing to do with me. But at least they can spell. The torch I had with me at the time wasn't fantastic, so I would like to go back and make another video with some better lighting, but I think it is sufficient to see what I'm talking about, the straight lines of flint running through the walls. There you can see where it's been cut along the seam. This is the bricked up entrance where they've used chalk, presumably from the cave, to brick up the entrance. Now I won't go into the official history of these caves and the kind of greater Napoleonic structure. Well, we're told it's Napoleonic. That seems actually to be the remains of a star fort. Just because I'm not sure that the official history is to be trusted. So this is the second cave that we went in, and we had just gone out for a bit of exploring, just for some exercise. But when we noticed this flint business, it piqued our interest, and we started looking for that. Again, please excuse the lighting. I hadn't really planned to make a video this day, but I just brought the camera in case we found anything interesting. But again, there we go. We've got these clear seams of flint, but always just running in straight lines. So what I was thinking was, if the chalk is supposed to be layers and layers of microscopic organisms, this is the official explanation, that are built up over millions and millions of years. So if that is the case, how did the flint get in there in such regular layers? One idea I was considering, because I've been looking a lot at the information regarding giant ancient basalt trees and trees made out of silicates, stuff that were many, many kilometers tall that used to be on this earth. And it did occur to me that chalk might be what remains of one particular type of these trees. But even if something as far-fetched as that was true, how would the flint get in there in regular layers? I mean, even if it was part of something that grew with it, I could just about stretch my imagination to that. But again, why would they have regular straight lines growing through it? Doesn't make sense to me. It seems far more likely that it was constructed a bit of rogue flint there, you can't. Yeah. So I don't know what you think, but that's just what occurred to me. Okay, so I thought I'd go looking for any evidence of the flint lions anywhere else in Dover, or on the exterior of the cliffs perhaps. So I went down to the seafront and came across some interesting regular lines of flint running in the outside. Please excuse my autofocus there. Still not quite got the hang of my P900. But yeah, ignore the reinforcements there and the cast iron stuff. That's obviously been added, but yeah, clear, regular, straight lines of flint separated by just over about a half metre. Now I was also looking out for any areas where there wasn't any evidence of flint lines, because it occurred to me that if they were only in some places, then that would be more evidence that it was something constructed. Now there's plenty of places where they're not spaced at half meters, and there seems to be clear several metre gaps between the lines of flint in some places, and other places like here where they seem bunched closer together. So I have no idea why the flint was added, if it was created, and if so, what determined how close the lines should be, or whether there should be lines in the area. No idea, but it's food for thought. There's a little bit of atmospheric distortion there. I think it was quite windy on that day. Yeah, so I then found a third place in Dover where there is a quarry. It was an old chalk quarry that's now been used as an industrial estate. So I went there, and the gentleman who worked there allowed me to have a look around. So let me show you what I saw there. So this is the quarry. It's been cut out. This is me having a look from up on the hills, just trying to find any evidence of these flint lines. And see here, I couldn't really see any from far away, so I decided I'd go a little bit closer and take a look. excuse the jumpy shot, I'm quite far away. And okay, so here there is some evidence of it. There you go. So there's two clear seams there running in straight lines all the way around, but just near the top. So again, if it was a natural thing, then I might expect them to be throughout the whole structure. Okay, so this is in the actual quarry. If you pay attention along this right hand wall, there's no evidence of the flint seams at all, and this part's all been cut away, but also on the lower reaches there's not a lot of evidence of the flint. Yeah, so again, clear evidence here, but just in the upper reaches. I'd just like to thank Sean of Unit 3 of the chalk pit, who very kindly allowed me to film this, and was really forthcoming with information about the tunnels contained inside the quarry, and he also let me go in and have a look. So thank you very much, Sean. And they do MOT servicing repairs at the chalk pit in Unit 3 in Dover. He also told me to look up the Winchelsea tunnels, because he said they were used during the war by Queen Elizabeth to shelter, and he said that you can look up historical photos of that, which I haven't done, but I will do. Thanks for that, Sean. Very nice fella. And this is the quarry in the chalk pit. So again, no flint there. Not in the regular lines that you see inside the caves and on the exterior of the White Cliffs. I think it's quite telling that in the quarried part of it, it's mostly free from the flint lines. Now, you do see kind of little sporadic patches of the flint, but not in the regular lines that I'm looking for. And there's things like that that kind of, they look like seams, but not of flint. I'll just look up the definition of chalk and how it's made, just see if it's consistent with what we see there. So how is chalk formed? This is the cliffs are made from chalk, a soft white, very finely grained pure limestone, and are commonly 300 to 400 metres deep. The chalk layers built up gradually over millions of years. They're formed from the skeletal remains of minute planktonic green algae that live floating in the upper levels of the ocean. When the algae died, their remains sank to the bottom of the ocean and combined with the remains of other creatures to form the chalk that shapes the cliffs today. Over millions of years, the seabed became exposed and is now above sea level. The resulting edge of the chalk is the iconic White Cliffs of Dover. Wouldn't that mean that the sea would have had to have covered the very tops of the cliffs at some point? Unless they were pushed up somehow. And it doesn't explain how that might have happened. The cliffs only stay white because they're allowed to erode naturally. Where the cliffs are protected from erosion by man-made structures, like in the port of Dover, plants will colonise the cliff face, making it appear green when viewed from the sea. Okay, so it says the chalk cliffs here are made of calcium carbonate, but the French chalk used to repair bicycle punctures is a natural magnesium silicate. And the chalkboard chalk is actually gypsum or calcium sulfate, so different types of chalk apparently. But there you go. What do you think? Please comment in the comments if you've got any ideas about what this might be. Whether you think it might be natural or that someone has actually built it at some point. Yeah. So thanks for listening and have a great day.